How's it going? So after all the leaks over the last few months, the Google Pixel 9a is finally here. And gotta give Google credit where it's due, right? Because the Google Pixel 9a retails at $499. And that's pretty important considering what's going on these days with tariffs or electronics prices in general. The Pixel 9a, despite all of that, stays under $500 for yet another year. And I mean, some might say that there are way better options available at the same price point, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but this seems to be a good entry point if you want a clean Android software experience with no bloatware and a fantastic camera setup at this price point. So there are 4 color options available. There's this bluish purple option that they call Iris, which looks pretty cool in my opinion. And there's also a pink option available, which they call Peony, and the usual black, which they call Obsidian, and the white, which we have here, called the Porcelain. So right off the bat, talking about the design, it's a total departure from the Pixel 8a. Heck, even its other 9 series siblings. So gone is the iconic camera bar that the Pixel phones are famous for, replaced by a more minimalistic and a unified look, but then all matte finish, which I definitely love. It keeps the phone clean and fingerprint free, and you know what kind of reminds me of? The iPhone 16e. I mean, don't get me wrong, it feels great in the hand, solid and premium, and this is what we've been asking the tech companies, right? Like, we don't care if the phone is a bit thicker, just give us a clean looking phone with no bumps and maybe a larger battery. And if somebody would have told me that Google was gonna be the one to do it, I probably would have laughed at you, but they did it. So the Pixel 9a packs the largest battery ever in a Pixel device, bigger than the 9 or the 9 Pro and even the 9 Pro XL. So that in itself kind of pushes buyers towards the 9a. It has the same Tensor G4 processors as the rest of the 9 series line, but it gets just 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage with a 256 gig option available. The display on the Pixel 9a is noticeably brighter than the 8a, making it easier to see in direct sunlight. It's also a tad larger at 6.3 inches, which is the same as the regular Pixel 9 with a hole punch camera at the top. There's also an optical fingerprint reader under the glass, which is pretty decent, but not the fastest one out there. Like, all these factors make it feel really good, almost dare I say like a flagship. But then there's these huge bezels around the screen. I was able to kind of get used to them in a couple of days, but for some, I know for a fact that might be a deal breaker. And also the back is plastic and not glass, which means yes, it'll be cheaper to repair in case you end up breaking it, but you do lose out on that slightly premium feel of the device. And also there's an IP68 dust and water resistance rating this time around, which is again better than the last year's IP67 rating on the Pixel 8a. So here's what's going on. The Pixel 9a serves as a really good entry point to the Google ecosystem, starting at $499. And then there's a regular Pixel 9, which starts at about $799 or about $649 if you can find a deal on it. And then there's the 9 Pros that are about $1,000. And of course, there's the Pixel Fold at the ridiculous price point of $1,800. So this makes it so that the Google has something for everyone, which wasn't the case last year because the Pixel 8a and the regular Pixel 8 were almost the same price. So now there's enough difference in price between the 9a and then the regular 9 for you to consider one or the other. You're still getting the same software experience on both, same apps on both, all the AI features are present. Gemini is there, Magic Eraser, call screening, which is one of the most underrated features that I miss whenever I switch to a OnePlus or a Samsung device. That's there as well. You also get the 7 years of software update commitment from Google and their regular monthly security patches. All that stuff is there for that $499 price point. Let's talk about cameras as well now. So it's got a 48 megapixel main camera and a 13 megapixel ultra wide. No telephoto option available here. It has an Add Me feature that lets you take a picture and add yourself to it by snapping another picture, thanks to Google's AI sorcery, as well as the night sight feature for nighttime shots. Alright, so to wrap it up, the Pixel 9a is available at this nice $499 price point. But let's consider what else is available at the same price point. And I'm talking about here in the United States, where our options are pretty limited. So there's the iPhone 16e, which retails at $599. It should have been $499, but there's also the OnePlus 13R, which has a better display, camera setup, somewhat better build quality, and it has last year's flagship processor from Qualcomm, which is still faster than the Tensor G4. It has really fast wired charging. And then you also have to consider, just in a few months, the Pixel 10 series is going to be launching. And if the rumors are true, the Pixel 10 series with the Tensor G5 processor is supposed to become pretty competitive to the Qualcomm chips. And so there's maybe a reason for you to wait a few months if you're considering of buying the Pixel 9a. End of the day, it's going to be your decision. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, but I think it's my job to tell you and inform you of all the options that you might want to consider if you're considering the Pixel 9a. So yeah, that was the Google Pixel 9a. Hopefully this video was somewhat informative, and if it was, please consider subscribing to the channel and follow me on social media. I'm gonna leave all that good stuff down there right below that like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.